Hey, what's up on this Wednesday? Once again, this is Frank Rock, House of Orange Sports Channel. Been going back and forth between football and basketball, trying to mix baseball back in as well. Released video earlier. Clarence Masamba, French guard, commits to Tennessee basketball. We'll talk about that earlier on. But there's been, found a few things today with Tennessee football, as that's, a lot of hot top. There's been some, my blood's boiled a little bit this week regarding Tennessee football and the transfer portal, and not really because of them, but we could all agree to disagree sometimes. Excuse me on that. Make sure you hit the like, the share, and if you like the content, you have not already, hit that subscribe button as well. Tennessee, of course, last night added defensive lineman Josh Shell, and the biggest thing is, it's still out there. Tennessee needs a wide receiver. Well, we may be onto something here, as Pete Nakos on 3 Sports today, just actually a couple hours ago, as a matter of fact, put out an article. He said that Jonathan Brady from Cal could, now that's the key, could, because we've had numerous coulds that have not materialized. But said Jonathan Brady could visit Knoxville this week as early as Wednesday, as the Vols look to add depth. And it says Miami. Who else? Miami. That was the target of my broke or stupid last night, because Miami is literally in on everybody, throwing money everywhere, it seems. And, just to clarify again, if you heard that, that was nothing towards everyday people, and I would never do that. And the fact that somebody thought that really kind of bothers me, that I would think that. But anywho, it is totally in regard to the transfer portal and not everyday human beings' lives. Now, back on topic. NACO says Miami, of course, and Virginia Tech have been factors to this point. But he says Miami did take a commitment from Cincinnati wide receiver transfer Tony Johnson earlier this week. So now Brady starting to evaluate his options. Now, says he's former New Mexico State transfer for his career. And there's a couple things here pretty interesting with it. For his career, 98 career catches, 1,317 yards, 10 touchdowns. Now it says he flourished in 2023 at New Mexico State with Diego Pavia. Says in that year he had 38 receptions for 624 yards and 4 touchdowns. Well, all right, if you remember this, now I don't know that I would have without reading the article, but now that I have, well, who else was at New Mexico State in 2023? It is this year's Tennessee running back portal transfer, Star Thomas. They were teammates in 2023. Could they reunite here? Could be kind of interesting there. Said last year at Cal, he had 36 catches, 386 yards, 3 touchdowns, worked through injuries on the year. And it says, of course, he would add experience depth because he does have 1 year remaining. And of course, Tennessee's been on in this window at least a few guys who were supposed to visit and didn't. And another one was Keelan Marion from BYU. He picked Miami as well. So Miami's already picked up 2 transfer receivers, and that leads me to believe that Tennessee may have a real good shot with Jonathan Brady if and when they get him to visit, or if or when they get him to visit, because as we've seen it with the receivers, nothing's a guarantee getting them in here. And, I get a lot of, some of us are disagreeing about the money thing or whatever. My big fault is I think Tennessee dropped the ball in the December transfer window, and I think it was due, in fact, because they were focused on trying to get Carnell Tate. That's a very, very educated guess, and it's based on what I've read. I've seen Austin Price say that Tennessee, he really felt, he just said yes. Somebody asked, I can't remember the exact question, but it was something along the lines of, was Tennessee, the way they attacked the December window due to their Carnell Tate? And he just said yes. So that rumor was out there. Obviously, it did not happen, and it looks like a bad philosophy now. And but that's where we are. I still will go in. I'll say this about this wide receiving core because I've got some saying, "Well, we lost all these guys." Who did we lose? That's a big loss. Look at where these guys went. I mean, Squirrel White went to Florida State, but Squirrel White last year, and I know he was hurt. He was not the Squirrel White we've seen before. And obviously, maybe a lot of that had to do with him being hurt, but still yet, when he caught a ball, he was literally almost getting nothing after the catch. His punt returning skills, I mean, he got pulled from them. Tennessee lost nobody out of that receiving core. The bad thing with it is they only replaced with Amari Jefferson, but I think it's being missed that you've got 3 freshmen that are pretty highly thought of coming in, and especially Jackson and Smith. A lot of high remarks said about them coming out of spring ball. These young guys are going to have to produce this year. You have no choice with it. It's not where you've had these veterans over the last few years and stuff. The bottom line is, with all the guys from Tennessee's wide receiving core hit the portal, they misevaluated. None of them were SEC quality. Maybe Squirrel White was. None of the rest of them were SEC quality. I think we can all agree upon it, because when we saw them get their chances, they really did nothing with it. So looking at everything here as well, moving forward. So Tennessee now, you've got 2 more. So it said they're in on wide receiver. And then they had Brent Austin, corner from South Florida, just concluded a visit. He said he's going to visit Cal, and then he's done on that. Supposedly he was supposed to visit Miami. I've not seen if he did that before. Obviously, Tennessee's been involved with. Miami's been mentioned, I think. And then another one, same thing. You're seeing Miami mentioned. Colton Hood played for Colorado. I apologize for this, as every time I go to record, here come some messages that I don't need. But Colton Hood, he started out at Colorado, he started out at Auburn, transferred to Colorado. He's back in the portal. He has multiple years of eligibility left. Where does that add as well? And it said in an article I found said that he is planning on visiting Tennessee and Miami. So, where's that going to go from there? Tennessee is interestingly enough looking for corner help. And I thought maybe safety help with the loss of John Slaughter, Christian Charles, Jacoby Thomas, but they must feel pretty good about Caleb Beasley and Edris Farouk next year to go along with Andre Turrentine. Now you're looking at corner. I still think Tennessee's secondary will be fine next year. You added depth yesterday. Brady would give you another receiver. That would give you really 9 if you count Boo Carter playing over. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm in the minority on this. I'm optimistic about next season. If Joey Aguilar comes in and gets the job, that's going to be the key. That's going to be the key, is Joey Aguilar. If he comes in from Appalachian State, threw for a lot of yards, all right? And I said it on one of the videos last night. Somebody I know, just a close connect to him, said, great kid, hard work. Yes, he had those games at Appalachian State, but said also the talent level was not there around him either. There's going to be talent around Joey Aguilar if he does win the job with it. Obviously, Merklinger, George McIntyre will be in it as well. A good quarterback makes the wide receivers. Look back at Peyton Manning, Tom Brady over the years. Just wide receivers in and out for both of them. Manning's were a little more consistent than Brady's. Brady's were in and out. He made them year in, year out. This is going to be the same, and I'm not comparing Joey Aguilar to Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. I'm just saying that if Joey Aguilar is the passer we hope that he can be, based on his numbers at Appalachian State, maybe it goes a long way in helping this wide receiving core grow as well. I don't think it's a coincidence under Hendon Hooker. This wide receiving core looked really good Yet the last 2 years when we had subpar quarterback play, all of a sudden they didn't look as good. That to me is not a coincidence in that regard. And part of it too is the misevaluations. They misevaluated the guys who left. That's the Squirrel White. I don't necessarily think they wanted him to leave. The rest of them who left, though, they were misevaluations. There, wish them the best, but look at where they went. They didn't. It's not like they transferred to Georgia, Texas, Ohio State, Oregon, or any of these schools. All right. So that's where we're at. Brady, if he visits, hopefully Tennessee has a good shot on that one. Brent Austin, Colton Hood, could something come out of that, give you some more corner depth, some experience corner depth as well, especially with Jermod McCoy. When will he be ready? And let's face it, you can never have too much depth there either. A lot of it's young coming in as freshmen. Of course, you have Jalen Murray, who can step in, did some good things last year as well. But you still got to have your depth. You've got scholarship positions open. And, with Brady, going back to him, he has 1 year left. Okay. All of your guys pretty much, if you can keep them in the fold and keep developing this receiving core, it's going to be pretty good for a few years to come, especially as you continue to bring in highly ranked quarterbacks. Other teams may be hitting the portal. Tennessee, they're trusting in positions. They're trusting in that they have the talent in now. And with me, I'm going to ride with it. I'm going to give it a shot because here's what I know. Most of these offensive coaches are on expiring contracts this year. They don't get the job done. It's time for new blood in there. Josh Heupel, unless it were just horrific season, Josh Heupel's not going anywhere. All right. But these guys on the expiring contracts, it's a prove it year for them. It's a year to prove it. Do you belong here or do you belong somewhere else? You get the job done, you're getting an extension. You don't, you're heading somewhere else. That's the bottom line with it. I will sometime this week do kind of a post-spring roster breakdown, really put this into what I think's some perspective of where we're at. And I just don't think things look as bad as we want to say out here. Frank Rock, House of Orange, last but not least, go Vols.